Alright guys, so today finally we're gonna start with the account giveaway. Now just so you guys know, this account's the account from last year's competition and it's full of very good champions for you to build. What's up guys, this is your boy Russian with another Raid Shadow Legends video on the account giveaway. So a couple of things, I will cover a few things about the game right now, but right after I'm gonna be showing the account that I'm gonna be giving away. And the rules are very simple. You guys just need to leave a comment, and about a week from now, probably next weekend, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get a randomizer and run all the comment names, and whoever wins, wins. Now, just so you guys know, whoever wins, I will contact the person on the comments, and I'll leave my... I want the person to give me their Discord, and I'll just contact the person with all the information to be able to take hold of the account. Listen up, click on the link in the description right now and get a free legendary Karato and 4 amazing epics as you level up. And here are the steps you guys need to follow to be able to get this. Step 1, log out of Player in Play on PC. If you never had Raid installed on your mobile phone before, the link will work in there too. Step number 2, click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Step number 3, launch Raid and complete the tutorial. Step number 4, go to your inbox and claim your first champion. And here you go. You find Karato here, as well as Uugo, Rector Drath, Tagoar, and Mausoleum Mage as you progress through the game. This is an amazing account starting raid, so click on my link on the description below and follow these steps. Alright, so a little bit of gaming news before we go into that, and it has to do with the news. Alright, so guys, just so you guys know, we're gonna be having a Sylvan summon poll coming up on Monday that I will be using that account that I'm gonna give away to actually, because we're probably gonna have our man here. We should be having coming up? No? Maybe? Maybe not? Well, if we have a Sand Devil, what we usually do when we have a summon pool, I will be running Sand Devil, just get Prism Shards and try to pull something on that pool. But yeah, so let's take a look at the champion really quick. So what we gonna be having right now from the Prism, it's gonna be Sylvan Watchers. So for the most part, we probably gonna have a lot of the legendaries from Sylvan Watchers, but the main champion coming up, and it's gonna be Blade Chorster Caldor. Alright, this champion, just so you guys know, you cannot pull from shards, okay, besides Prince shards. And that's what is really exciting about trying to go for it, and that's why I will, if there's any ways to get Prince shards, I will try to get this champion for this account. And the main thing is, so on his A1, Dagger Song. Attacks all enemies has 15% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. Will ignore 20% of the target's resistance for each continuous heal buff on this champion. On the A2, Orchestra of War. If the target is an enemy, decrease the duration of all buffs on all enemies for 1 turn. Place a 5% poison debuff in all enemies, 2 turns, and an additional 5% poison for each 2 turns for each continuous heal buff on this champion. These debuffs cannot be resisted, then instantly activates all poison debuffs on all enemies. If the target's an ally, increase the duration of all buffs on all allies for 1 turn, and instantly activates all continuous heal buffs on all allies. Place a Perfect Veil buff on this champion for 2 turns. Also place a 15% continuous heal buff on this champion for 2 turns, and another 15% continuous heal buff on each ally for 2 turns. Finally, fuse this champion's turn meter by 15% for each buff or debuff placed by this skill. On the A3, Rhythm's Crescendo attacks one enemy. Before attacking, has 10% chance of removing all buffs from the target and placing a 60% decreased defense debuff and a 25% weakened debuff on the target for 2 turns. We ignore 20% of the target's resistance for each continuous heal buff on this champion. And it doesn't seem to have limits, what means if you're able to get 5 continuous heals, what you can, depending on the champs you have, like the meta or anything, you pretty much are ignoring all of the resistance. So crazy. right? And Sylvan's Watcher Unity, one faction allies, remove all buffs in all enemies. If the initial target is killed, this buff removal cannot be resisted. Two faction allies, we ignore 5% of the target's defense for each poison debuff on them and each continuous heal buff on this champion. 3 faction allies, if the initial target's under a poison debuff, also attacks all other enemies. The damage dealt is proportional to the initial target's max HP and how many poison buffs are on the team. If the initial target's a boss or a minion, the damage dealt is equal to 10% of their max HP. Insane. So I am going, if I can get in pre-shards, I will be going for that. Now this account, by the way, is completely free to play. Haven't spent a penny on this account, so you do whatever you want afterwards. So this is the the passive. Sylvan Symphony, we ignore 15% of the target's defense when attacked while under a Veil and Perfect Veil buff. This champion receives 30% less damage from enemies when not under a Veil or Perfect Veil buff. And the Unity is one faction allies, its continuous heal buff in this champion increases their crit rate by 20%. Two faction allies, each time a continuous heal buff activates on this champion, also fills their turn meter by 8%. Three faction allies, each time a continuous heal buff activates in this champion or an ally, increases champion damage by 5% and stacks up to 150. So that's what I'm going for. And finally, the aura. Increase ally crit rate in all battles by 25%. Increase ally speed in all battles by 15%. Only applies to Sylvan Watchers. So massive champion. I think I probably will be going on my main account. Not sure if I'm gonna be spending money on Prince Shards, but if I was to, that would be the time. All right, guys, so let's talk a little bit about this account, okay? So as you guys see, Revival Path's on because didn't have really much time to play for a while. So as you guys see, if you were to spend money on this account, you can pretty much get Elva right away. That would be $19.99. Now I'm gonna keep this account vanilla. I'm not spend money on this. And you still have Revival quests. You still have a lot of boosts open. Okay. If you get this account, I would say build your teams before you use those. I honestly don't have the time where I would try to build some of those for you. Now on top of that, you guys also have Alice coming up. So you do have Alice, but you're still working on the souls, but it's not on the time limit. So you still can get the 5 souls for Alice as well. Now, one of the things I did was pretty much like every time I would log in, I would usually run all the quests and gather some good stuff. So as you guys see here, really quick before we show the champions, you guys have almost 10,000 energy, 12 million silver. I know it's not that much. 214 gems. On top of that, you do have 5 void shards just to open whenever you want. 1 ancient shard. I did open shards every time that was a 2x, just try to get new champions to the account. So let's look at champions and let's look by rarity. So a lot of those champions you guys can't get anymore, what is a great thing for if you want to start a new account or want to go free to play completely, because this is a free-to-play account. So one of them, you have Rathalos Blade Master. If you guys remember, that was during the Monster Hunter. So you have him. He is mostly built. He does have his masteries, for example. On top of that, you have Manrix. Now, Manrix not crazy champion, but I feel like a lot of times those champions can get buffs when you least expect. So keep her up. You do have Ninja, but you can't get anymore, I believe. On top of that, you have Tribune. As you guys know, he's also a faction champion. So let's take a look in here really quick. Not many people have it. Snakebiter, level 1, attacks one enemy, place a True Fear debuff on the target for 1 turn. This debuff cannot be resisted or blocked if this champion is dead. If this champion is dead, also heals all allies by 20% of their max HP. Also remember, those champions cannot be pulled on shards. On the A2, attacks one enemy will ignore 100% of the target's defense. If the target was killed, revives a random dead ally with 50% HP and 50% turn meter. If the target was killed and there are no dead allies, resets a cooldown of this skill instantly. On the A3, attacks all enemies destroy the max HP of all enemies by 10%. Place a shield buff on this champion for 2 turns. The value of the shield is equal to the total amount of all enemies destroyed max HP. Damage based on defense, what is great. Undead Horde's Unity. One faction ally, the shield buff placed by this skill cannot be removed. 2 faction allies instantly activates this skill whenever a champion is revived. 3 faction allies, we ignore the portion of each target's defense. The amount of defense ignored is equal to the percentage of each target's destroyed max HP. Now remember this. So 2 faction champions instantly activates this skill whenever this champion is revived. If you have someone, you have any reviver, every time you bring this guy up, he's activated this skill. So, and I believe it ignores cooldown. Then you have on the passive, Immortal Oath. Whenever this champion is revived, increase the damage inflicted by this champion by 20. Stacks up to 200%. And I'm giving this account away and I don't have this guy on my main account. Undead Horde's Unity, another Unity on top of that. 1 faction ally, this champion is immune to block revive debuffs. 2 faction allies receive 20% less damage if this champion is dead. 3 faction allies, whenever this champion is dead and an ally attacks an enemy, this champion will join and attack use their default skill. So, there you go, I'm giving this away for you guys. Alright, next, we do have Saito. Not going through some of the other kits, I did feel was interesting to go through the unit champion I have. So we have Saito. We do have Seal of Great Drakes. We do have Loki. We do have Adeline. We do have Skeletor. We do have Jet. We do have Alice. We do have Vizix. And we do have Netru. On top of that, when you go to epics, we have some major epics on this account as well. We have Geo. We have Miscreated Monster. We have Discard that really carried me everywhere in this game in this account. We do have Torag the Frog. We do have Allure, what is massive for Fire Knight. We do have Old Grokus. Do have Hiketon, Man-Eater, Myceliac Priest, Stagnite, Doom Priest, Whisper, Altar, Lady Annabelle, Sanguinia, Dark Elhain, Dark Ato, Occult Brawler, Shonaru, Urgon, Rockbreaker. Okay, not that great. He's good, not great. Werenon, the Silken. Okay, let me give highlights in here, okay? Archmage, Suring, and many others as you guys can see here. Some are dupes. We do have a Cold Heart as well. We do have Kael, level 60. We do have Fellhound, and so on and so forth. And not done. All right, on top of that, guys, just to show you, you also have the option. So you do have a lot of other food champions, so you guys can pick a couple of champions to get 6-star as well in this account. I've been pretty much just saving them. I didn't, like I said, I wasn't playing this account for months, besides for just getting in, grabbing some stuff and logging out. So you guys get all those goodies and some more. That's it. So yeah, this account's pretty legit right now. Let's take a look really quick where we are in login. So login rewards, we are on 271 days plus. Yeah, this account's over a year old. I just, in the last 3 months, could not log in as much. So you guys have a few other things coming up in the account. Yeah, quests. Haven't done quests in the last few months, but we also not doing too bad, halfway here. So yeah, if you guys want this account, just leave a comment. Tell me you want the account. And in about a week, we gonna be running the drawing, and I'll get in touch with you guys, whoever wins. I will do on camera the drawing, by the way. I'm not doing this thing where, someone won and whatever. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Really want to hear from you guys what you think about this account. And yeah, have a great weekend. And as always, I'll see you in the game.